All right, so this video is for producing the blend shapes, facial blend shapes for your character. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. So what I did is I kind of adjusted what we had worked on before, because if you look, he doesn't have eyes. He doesn't really. This guy doesn't really have a mouth either. So I kind of wanted to fix a bit of that. So if you look, you could see. It just doesn't work. So what I did is I actually made it like it's a helmet, and underneath is a person, so that makes it much more simple. And it's like he's the mascot guy, and you can take the helmet and put that on and move it over and that thing. Okay, so that's the idea. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that off and use this as a guide. So you can see this is actually a separate piece from this. Yours is more than likely one piece, but feel free to, if it's, just do this the same way regardless, okay? They actually completely like renovated the system here for doing blend shapes, so I'm just going to kind of do it real quick and go through there. Okay, so that being said, first thing you want to do is just go to Edit, Delete All by Type, History. What that does is that anything that's in the inputs here that was up in here while you were making your things will be fixed, all right? The next thing you want to do is go through and just clean up stuff. So this head, I'm just going to call this, head underscore geo, so I know what it is. All right, and then I'm going to select this. I'm going to call this body underscore geo for geometry. And I'm going to turn the helmet on real quick. And I'm going to call this, oh, sorry, that's not the helmet. The helmet. And we're just going to call it helmet underscore geo. All right. So that's good, that's good, that's good. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select all the pieces. Turn this off for a second, turn this back on. And with everything selected, I'm just going to go Modify, Freeze Transformations. So it should be nice and in the center. All the values are zeroed out. That's good, okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Windows, and I'm going to go Hypergraph Hierarchy. And you're going to notice you have a bunch of stuff. So you might have stuff that's all in a bunch of, whatever, a bunch of groups, right? So I'm actually going to take all of the pieces here, and I'm just going to like ungroup everything. To make it a little bit better. All right. So any extra groups, I got these like groups I don't do anything. Get rid of those. Just delete them. If you have extra curves or extra clusters, get rid of those. You should just have your geometry, and you should just have your, your geometry and just have your skeleton. Those are the only two things. The skeleton should all be underneath one chain if you did the skeleton correct. Okay. So now I have all these pieces here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna try and organize these in a logical manner. I'm gonna turn my helmet off for now. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to snap it over there. Take this, come on. Put that over there. I'm going to turn this one off. All right. And I'm just going to make sure that everything is named. So you can see some of these spheres are actually not named. So this one here is actually my lens. So I'm just going to go ahead and go lens underscore L underscore geo. Okay, so it's my lens left geo. I'm actually going to copy that. And then that should be the other lens here. Good. So I'm just going to paste that there, replace the L with an R. All right. And then I should have the eyeball here. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to paste that, but instead of lens, I'm just going to call it eyeball. All right. And I'm going to copy that. Good. And rename this one and call this one R. Okay. So we go by the characters right and left, not our own. Which you probably already noticed that by the time we were doing that before. Okay, so one thing I do want to have happen is I want my lenses to be grouped together. So I'm just going to select both of them, the lens and the eyeball, hit Control G to make a group, and just call this eyeball underscore L underscore GRP for group. And I'm going to do modify, where are you? Center pivot. That way it's in the center of the eyeball. And I'm going to do the same thing over here again. Control G or Command G if you're on a Mac, eyeball underscore R underscore GRP, and modify center pivot. Good, so that's now centered as well. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of this together and do a Control G to group it all together, and just call this one Geo group, okay? Geo underscore GRP. That way I know that that's my geometry group. Select all the pieces all together, and I'm just going to go modify freeze transforms right there. That way it zeroes everything out. just because we regrouped everything and that made it weird. Okay, so you should have 2 stacks here, your geometry and your root, and that makes it nice and clean. Everything should be named. There shouldn't be anything that's like poly or anything else. Okay, it should all be nicely named and all good to go. So I'm just going to exit out of the hypergraph hierarchy. I'll pop this back open a little bit more. All right, so obviously I need hair and eyebrows. I'll do that later. I also don't have any teeth. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and do the blend shapes. All right, so let's do that. So to do that, we're going to go to deform. We're going to go blend shape. I'm at the option box, and I'm just going to call this face blends. Actually, no, we're going to do this. I'm going to do face underscore blends. And I'm going to hit create. Okay, so now that that's made, what we're going to do is we're going to work on it. So I'm going to go to Windows, Animation Editors, and Blend Shape. It's going to bring up a new window here. All right. Now, to know what you want to make your blend shapes of, if you go on to, come on, buddy, go over there. There you go. If you go on to my website here, the Teach Me Cone, I'm going to snap this over there. Yep, stay over there. Thank you. And open up. Give it a second. Beauteous. I'm going to go right to the website. So this is class 8. I'm going to click on class 8. Baba boom. There we go. I'm scroll down. It says a bunch of stuff we'll talk about later. Blend shapes. But if you look at here, I have like a list of them. You can go right down. You can look at them as kind of guides. I'm just going to forewarn you, though, these are not very good. I didn't do that great of a job. It's kind of old. I haven't had time to like re-update it. Okay, but these are mostly the shapes that you're going to want to create. Okay, so that being said, let's go ahead and I'm just going to do the first couple, okay? And then you can kind of figure it out from there. You're just going to follow this. So the first one I'm going to do is mouth narrow, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add new target, all right? Now, that's going to make a new target shape, okay? What I need to do is hit edit, all right? I'm going to make this bigger so I have more room. I'm going to hit edit. Now, what that means is that's going to basically, in a sense, be recording what I'm currently doing, which means anything I do it's gonna become what the blend shape is. If this is not on edit and you start moving it, you're going to be screwed. Okay. So I'm going to click on the sculpting tools. This is new as of 2016. These are from Mudbox. If you've ever used Mudbox, it's more or less kind of the same thing. Here's move, sculpt. Mostly I'm going to use move. So I'm going to grab move here. And in order to kind of see the topology, I'm going to turn wireframe on shaded. I actually kind of prefer that. It turns it off by default, which is nice, but in this case, I kind of want to have that. I'm also going to turn on the tool settings up here by clicking on this. And I'm going to make sure it says Object X. For mirroring. That way it's mirroring across the guy here. Just want to see, so surface, volume. So I want to do, I'm going to go by volume as opposed to surface. It's just tends to be a little bit better for what we need here. It just means it's going to go through the surface, especially for this mouth narrow. Some of the other things you would want to be surface, but in this case I'm going to do that. I'm going to hold B to change my brush size. Okay. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to grab, and I'm just going to try and push this up. Okay. All right. So I'm going to hit F to frame so that I got, that way it's pivoting where I need it to pivot. Ooh, that is shaking. So I apologize for that. So I'm just going to try and get this to be my mouth narrow. Okay. Now, if I hold shift, it will actually smooth. This one's really useful over here too. This is relax. Okay. And what you'll see, you'll be kind of careful with it. It will actually try to relax the geometry. It'll loosen it up. Okay. So, okay, I'm going to use a little bit more of this. And kind of pull this up. Picturing the lips kind of coming forward a little bit. Alright, because if you squish your narrows, you'll kind of do that. Alright. And I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. And I'm going to pull this out a little. There we go. Alright. And, okay. Now, you could do it that way, or I can literally just, and this is actually the way I kind of prefer. I got the joints underneath, so I got to make sure, okay, vertex. I can literally go, okay, so I keep competing with the joints because it always wants to click on them. You can see it's showing up over here. So in order to turn that, I'm just going to go to show and turn off joints. That way they're not in the way and I can do what I need to. But I can literally just grab vertices and do it this way as well. And just do like B for soft select, click and drag. And then I can, you know, manually move the verts. Oops. So you'll notice it's only doing it to one side. So I'm going to go over here on the settings and turn it to Object X. I'm going to click off and back on so it does it. And then I can actually manually adjust these. Okay. So you can see that's not very good. It looks kind of weird, but you get kind of the idea, right? So I'm going to kind of pull that back a little. Take this, pull this in a little. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. So there's that one, right? So I'm done with it. All I'm going to do is I'm going to hit edit. I'm going to turn that back off. And now watch. When I go down and up, down and up. All right. And if I need to adjust it, I'll just hit edit again because I'm looking. You see how it actually went up, the corners of the lips? That's not something I wanted. So I'm going to take this up a little bit. And I'm going to take this and pull this down a little. Let me just check real quick. That's better. Okay. So I'm turning edit back off. And then I'm just going to pull this down. Okay. Now the next one is wide. So that's the next one I'm going to do. So all I'm going to do is hit add new target. Boom, there's another target. And I got to make sure I hit edit. Boom, edit. Now I can start working on this one. All right. And then I'm just going to take it and try to work on that. So I can use these tools here, these grab and these sculpts and things like that. Or I can just try to manually do it via my vertices here. Okay, so typically the mouth kind of goes into the back here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and try to use the grab tool. All right, so, oops, I got to be back on the mesh, then hit grab. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this actually back on the surface. I'm going to kind of pull this up, hold B to make it a little bit smaller. All right, so you want to get the nasolabial folds as much as possible. And I'm actually going to make this a little bit smaller and pull this down a little. That looks a little better. All right, and then I'm going to kind of get in the corner here and pull that in a little bit tighter. And make that a little bit bigger. Okay, I'm just trying to get like a nice, I'll hit 3 real quick. Okay, back to 1. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and use the Sculpt tool. Okay, so B is this. M is strength. You can see, so when you do B, it's left and right to make it bigger. When you hit M for strength, it's up and down, which is kind of weird. So this is how much it's going to displace it. So I'm just going to go up a little bit, and then you'll see what this does. All right, so I'm going to go and see how it just sculpts the surface. Okay, and then I'll hold Shift just to kind of smooth it out, and maybe use a little bit of relax here as well. Okay. That could probably be pushed more, but I would be done with that one. I would hit edit and turn that back down. Okay. And then I would go to the next one. So pull it all the way down, hit add new target, so on and so forth. Okay. You're just going to go right down the line, and that's all you do. And once you're done with that, then your blend shapes are good. And then you can key these at any time. All right. To get what you need. And that is it.